I'll admit I've watched all the Star Wars up to date, like Andor and um, Solo movie and all that. The things that have been hit the most on probably like Rotten Tomatoes and stuff. Um, but
I didn't
I
catch Andor.
yeah, I watched it. It wasn't bad, but it was very slow paced and just didn't seem like it was getting anywhere. Which seems like the direction Star Wars is going. It's not getting anywhere. And Mandalorian, I thought was, you know, good at first, and then this season kind of fell into that same trap of we're not getting anywhere. Now, I mean, I was a fan of the Clone Wars. I liked the cartoons, and I watched them all the way through. And this season seemed like it tried to be a continuation of something that wasn't told. I mean, it wasn't really told uh, what happened to the Mandalorians, but it seemed like they tried to continue on that storyline, which became detached from Din Djarin and the Mandalorian, and it just seemed like they kept Grogu on just as a plot device. Well, not even a plot device, as
Well,
a doll,
the Grogu's are
just
yeah, but the
merchandise.
Grogu's a problem. The Grogu's a problem because
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but the Grogu thing in season three really irritates me because this is an example of where you can criticize it as a storytelling thing because season three Mandalorian because if you had not watched Boba Fett, you would be
Yeah,
so confused as to where Grogu is back because
yeah. Where did he come from?
at the end of season two, he's going off with Luke Skywalker to become a Jedi or retrained, right?
Which is epic. Which
And
is what should have happened.
right, it seems like full circle, right? That was a cool idea because, like,
Yeah.
if you think about it, that one of his species, Yoda, had trained Luke, and now Luke's going to train one of Yoda's species, right? That was kind of a
Mm-hmm.
cool when you think about that. This kind of full circle idea is kind of a cool idea.
Yep.
And so when they left season two off that way, it was kind of satisfying. And that scene where Luke is coming down the corridor and taking out all them black I forget what they're called, those black robots, black
Death
droids.
Troopers.
He might be right.
They're the
Um,
next generation Death Trooper droids, I guess is I think what they
okay,
were called.
yeah, I can't remember, but that was a cool scene, and it was epic, and just I don't know, it was done so well, right? It was to see Luke portrayed that way. Um, but then you get to this Mandalorian season three. If you have not seen Boba Fett, you're like, okay, wait a minute. Why is Grogu back? And see, this is the right out of the gate. This is where you know season three is going to have a problem because it's not
Yeah.
it's not informing you of it's not connecting those dots, right? It should never rely on a different series. I personally
Yeah.
made this mistake in my own filmmaking. Back in the day, you remember when we made Ethan Berenger.
Yeah.
The Scorpion Sting. This is something that would never see the light of day, but it's something me and Zach talk about and know about. We made a film together that when I wrote it based off of a friend's movie, and the events that happened in my movie were very dependent upon his. And so, if a person watched it by itself, would be confused and and wouldn't understand what's going on. And
Yeah.
it's so important when you're especially whether it be a series or a movie or like a sequel or whatever, that it can stand on its own. And this season does not do it. It's okay to have certain ideas that carry over. All series do that. But yeah, you get into this right out of the gate. Grogu's back. Okay, what's going on here? Now I saw Boba Fett, so I knew how he got back. But as somebody who writes stories and films myself, not that I'm anything special or great, I knew that was a problem right then and there. Um, but beyond that, it's like each episode as they unfolded, you're like, I can't even tell you what this thing's about, other than, um, well, at first I was like, okay, Din Djarin has this need to go back to Mandalore and bathe in the waters, right? So I
Yeah,
thought that was what this whole season was going to be about, was like his mission, or his journey of going back to Mandalore to be redeemed. Okay, uh,
yeah,
not to don't mention how stupid of a religion Mandalorians kind of have anyway. But
yeah. That was kind of was an off-putting thing about season one. Is like, what is this with having to wear the helmets? Nobody understood it. Which I mean,
yeah,
they did good retcon on that and making us realize that uh, it wasn't the only tribe of Mandalorian. I mean, there's a extremist, almost a cult like version of it.
yeah.
So I guess that kind of works.
But then, yeah, but then when they once he gets he what was it, the second episode or third episode, he actually succeeds in bathing in the waters. I forget which one it is. Um,
Yeah, I'm not
and the
sure.
other thing that's weird too. So he right out of the gate too, he has this need to have what's the droid's name? IG-11? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, that was weird. So
It's
yeah,
like,
they're
what's that
dark
all about?
troopers. I finally found it. Sorry, I've been looking. It was going to drive me nuts until I figured it out. It was definitely
Oh,
dark
okay.
troopers. Those are the droids. I had to look it up on Wikipedia just to show how big of a nerd I am.
Yeah.
Let me bring us back here.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean that's you know then they wrap they I shouldn't say wrap up, but they stop that part of the storyline, and then
yeah.
all of a sudden it becomes about, okay, them getting back to Mandaloria, or it's Mandalore, right? Is that right?
Mandalore. Yeah, Mandalore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, I don't know. A lot of the details of it are kind of like it's kind of forgettable to me, to be honest with you. This I it I kind of watched it. Went I'm half checked out watching all of it. Um, to be honest, it's just there's so much bad dialogue and sloppy story writing that I feel like I'm watching a cartoon. Like if this was animated, like if this is a GI Joe animated cartoon, it might be okay. Like if, to be honest, if you took a 5-year-old kid, they'd probably would just enjoy this, right? Because it's got great visuals. That's one thing I'll give um, in most modern cinema, and this series in particular, is that the visuals are incredible. Like the
Oh
visual
yeah.
effects of this
I would
show
love to
are,
have. I'd love to
oh
have one of
man,
those big screen things that they have wrapped around and like that. That thing's incredible.
yeah. Well, not just that not just that tool, but I mean the actual CGI
Oh
is
yeah.
impeccable. It looks really good. Um, and so so from a technical standpoint, a visually technical standpoint, it's awesome. So if you
Yeah.
was a 5-year-old kid, you might enjoy this. But as an adult, you know, I can't just turn my brain off. And I'm not that. That's where you kind of get in that fanboy. No matter what, I know people personally that have like, well, are you a true Star Wars fan? It's like, does it matter that I'm a true fan, as you want to put it? It's like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to turn my brain off, and I'm just going to take it as entertainment. I'm
That
not allowed to think about this.
that goes back to the I'm a better fan than you are.
Yeah. So this one doesn't stand up. Mandalorian season 3 does not stand up that way. Thanks for checking out this clip of Two Dude Yakkin. You can catch the full episode right here on YouTube and on our Rumble channel. That's Two Dude Yakkin. So please like, share, subscribe, and all those things. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.